Lake Life at Lake of the Pines with CJ. Hey, guess what, guys? We have a gorgeous lake here in Auburn, California, and there's one thing that you can do and enjoy at Lake of the Pines, and that is sailing. Here is Ross, the head of the Lake of the Pines Sailing School, and he's going to give us a tour of your facility and what you guys do to enhance the community and teach everybody the joy of sailing.
Oh, well, thank you, CJ. It's wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to be at the lake. It's a beautiful day today, and I'm delighted with this opportunity to talk to your many fans about Lake of the Pines and the Sailing School specifically.
Great, great. Well, how many boats do you have here?
So we have a fleet of 10 laser sailboats, plus another Hobie sailboat that we use at times. And it's different from when the program was originally established, where we just had a whole mix of boats. Now everybody learns on the exact same boats.
Right. So if they're on a different boat, they can use the same skills on a different numbered boat because it's the same model.
It's exactly the same boat when the students get out, one
now,
or the other.
Who owns these boats?
The boats are owned by Lake of the Pines
Okay.
Association. And then the program is completely run by volunteers. And in fact, Lake of the Pines Association, while they own the boats, they do not fund any of it. We're completely independently funded by donations of boats and donations of monies that various people over the years have given us to keep us running. And it's an all volunteer operation.
And how many people do you have doing the training on the boats? I saw quite a few gentlemen here last weekend when you opened up the sailing school.
We have at least 20 active coaches.
Wow.
In some form or another that come out here and help throughout the year. And not only do they help during the active sailing school time, but we have a lot of work to do during the off season just to maintain the boats and get them back ready to go so that they're ready for the new season. As any sailing school go and any activity on the water, boats take a lot of abuse. And these are very old boats. These are vintage 1970s boats.
Okay, I like the word vintage. It's much better than old. We might use that a bit ourselves. Anyway, so you have, it looks like, a new stand here for the boats. Was this just done recently? Let's look at those. This structure right here.
So this rack was rebuilt about 3 years ago now, partly to hold all the boats so we were no longer sitting boats in the sand, and partly just to get them up out of the dirt and arranged nice and neatly. And then at the same time, that was when the whole beach project was being done. That was the very beginning of the beach project. We replaced the storage facility with a bigger one. We'll look at it a little bit, I think. And it just allows us to hold all our material for the sailing school without having to cram it in, makes it much more accessible.
Right, right. Well, on Sunday, at the beginning of the sailing school, this Sunday, you had the whole hillside here filled with chairs.
Yes.
That was so great. It looked like a little audience, you know, watching.
Well, the chairs are there for you know, some of the coaches, when they're sitting down, they're not working, we can sit there. When we take our breaks, it's hot out here during the summer. They're there for the parents or family members who want to sit and watch the program as well.
Yeah, that's great. That's really cool. Okay, let's go up a bit and we'll get ourselves in some shade. How about that?
That's great.
And you can tell us a little bit about the school, because not only has your beach project evolved and grown, you also now have more classes. Is that correct? You have 2 sessions, but within the sessions...
Well, the structure of the sailing school has stayed the same for quite some time, amazingly steady. It's worked very well. We've made some minor tweaks to it. Now, we have 4 sessions a summer.
Okay.
So 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon in the beginning in June, and then another in July, and then we wrap it all up with a regatta in August, early August. So it runs pretty much the full time the kids are out of school. But we have old kids here participating as well. We have had everybody from, I think our youngest student has been 8 and our oldest has been 70.
Wow, wow. And to be one of the little ones, you have to weigh how much weight do they have to be for handling the boat?
It really takes about a 65-pound person to handle these boats. These are not yachts that somebody goes out and enjoys the lake. These are really, they're competitive. These are the Olympic racing boats. And
Okay.
so it takes a little bit of athleticism to do it. When you
Right.
sail these boats, you will fall in the water and you will have to get back up by yourself and get back onto the boat. Only
Right.
one person on each boat.
Okay, so you really have to have that strength too.
Yes.
And so if
exactly.
you're a little frail 8-year-old, you're not going to be able to be ready yet.
It depends upon the 8-year-old. We've had some that can do. We've had some 10 and 12-year-olds who, I guess they've sat in and worked on their
Video
video
games.
skills too much and not enough on their activities.
And how
they
could
can't
that
get home.
happen at Lake of the Pines when we have so many gorgeous outdoor things to do? But it can happen, yes, yes. And so do you mix the kids and the adults in classes?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
The kids and the adults are both either in one of two classes, either the beginning class or the advanced class. And so we've got a lot of students coming back now to participate in the advanced, where we take them out on the lake and we teach them more advanced skills for sailing these boats. Basically, what we do with the beginning classes is we're getting somebody from never having even been on a boat possibly before to sailing independently by themselves and able to go across the lake, able to know how to sail into the wind, go around on regatta for the race course. And it's shocking that it's only 4, maybe 6 days, depending upon which days they're really practicing on, of active instruction that they're getting. But it's amazing how fast.
Right. Now, one of the questions I've always had, when you see the boats out there, let's say you've got a young, maybe a preteen out there in a boat, and you're trying to coach them. How do you coach them? Because they're on the boat by themselves. So where is the coach?
So in the first classes that we have, first off, we teach them how to fall off the boat safely and how to get back on the boat safely. And then the first class, we're teaching them how to steer the boat, what we call handle the tiller. And so when we're doing that, we've got a coach actually sitting on the boat with them. So we have coaches sit up on the bow of the boat, sometimes in the cockpit with them, and they will be instructing that. Once they know how to handle the tiller, we then, with a coach, we have them learning how to handle what we call the main sheet. That's the line you pull the sail in and out with. And by the second class, the end of the second class, most of the students can get out there on their own.
Wow.
And then we have boats out on the water, kayaks. The coaches are in kayaks that can go and help and rescue if need be.
Okay, so you're not just out there by yourself, in a sense.
Absolutely. And we always stay in this area here, which this is always a
5 mile an hour
no-wake zone.
Yeah.
So it's a very safe area that we're staying in.
Yeah, this is the area that I swim in when I'm preparing for the lake swim, because I've got my little buoy behind me, but I'm safe because I'm not by the water skiers and any pontoon boats and things like that. Okay, so let's take a peek at what you have in the shed.
Wonderful.
We'll wait for Leanne to join us here. Okay, first chance I've ever gotten to look at the shed and see what you guys are storing in there. I bet you it's tidy.
We try to keep it neat. That's the one thing about the new larger shed, is it makes it much more accessible. First off, just outside the shed is where we keep all what we call our spars, the masts and booms for the sailboats. And so there's a lot of long pieces of equipment that then we can use this beautiful and new parking area up here to put the sails together and rig the boats.
So you're putting the sails together up here versus on the beach where it's a little harder to manage.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And I'm very curious about these things right here, because I don't see this as sailing equipment.
Well,
so
this is
what
a very
this?
important part of our sailing school. And this goes back a long time ago when we realized that the kids, especially on calm days, they will learn as much chasing each other on the water with squirt guns as they will under active instruction.
That's very clever.
We can credit this one to our coach that we refer to as Coach Fun. And he's the really only active coach we have now who was with us since 1997 as the founding coach, and that's Alan Lehue.
Oh, really? Yes, that sounds great. And look how you've got them all fixed up here. If I have an extra one of these, I should give it to you, huh? So you can use it.
Kids would be delighted to have that.
Okay, so let's go inside the shed. Now, I know about these chairs because you guys had these chairs all set up on the hillside on the beach. And they're stackable, and that's where everybody was sitting very comfortably watching the first sailing lesson of the first sailing school event.
Yeah, and so you can see in here, there's the chairs, of course, which they're not very expensive chairs. They sit in the sun. They get a lot of use during the summer, so they get replaced regularly, again, out of our funds. We have our tillers here. We have our rudders down here. We have our center boards. They're all stacked up and arranged here. And then we have life vests. The program provides life vests for all the students. It's always best if you can bring one of your own that fits well.
And they wear them while they're sailing.
They wear them all the time when they're on the water, as do the coaches. The program is really all about safety. And the perspective of safety, we have our own safety equipment. We have our AED here. We have first aid equipment right here. So first thing we always talk about with the school is, while it's important to have fun, it's all about safety and being safe. So this is about twice as large as what our old. This is our new boathouse, is what we affectionately refer to this as.
Right.
But this is the new larger one. We have a board up here which is for safety again, which we can go out onto if we need to. All of our equipment around here for repairs and whatnot. Our sails are back here behind the chairs, so it's very functional now.
So it must take a while to get everything set up. So you start at what, 10:30 in the morning? Is that it?
Well, the first class is at 11. There's a 10:30 class, the very first class, just because it's a longer one as we're getting students indoctrinated to the program. But at 11 o'clock, we show up typically a half hour beforehand. But importantly, it's the students who do all the rigging of the boats. The coaches aren't. The coaches aren't. If they don't rig their own boat, they can't be responsible for it, and they can't understand what really is going on.
I like that. That's good. That's really good.
And similarly, at the end of the day, they take the boats apart.
And they put them all back?
And they put them all away.
Oh, we love that. Probably more than what they might be doing at home.
Possibly.
Who knows? Who knows? This is really cool. And we have the logo here, which is the new logo for the sailing school. Now, my husband and son did the sailing school in the year 2000, and they had a lot of fun. They really did.
It's a great program. It's hard to tell you how many students we have put through this program, but between the new and the returning students, we'll have 40 students a season.
Wow.
Now, maybe half of those are coming back or doubles or repeats, but there have been many, many over the 27 years.
Now, Ross, can you tell me how much it is to be registered in the sailing school? We'll get you in the shade over here a little bit, but keep you cool. How much does it cost for, now a session is 4 Sundays and 4 rec days, is that correct?
4 Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
It's more of a rec program, yes.
Okay.
And then
that's 8 sails.
So it's 8 days there. Plus you come back for a training day, a regatta training day at the end of the season. So this is usually early August, right before the regatta. Plus there's a regatta, which is all a day event. So it's really 10 days.
10 days of sailing. That's pretty cool. How much would that cost?
So that's at $6 a day right now.
$6 a day. 6 times 10.
So we have $60 is the total program cost.
That's a great thing. I mean, you can't go to a movie for $20 anymore. So
you can't buy a popcorn for $20.
Right. That's great. And what life skills. So I want to ask you about how having the sailing experience changes people's lives. What does that do in the bigger picture?
Well, it really changes somebody from being an observer to a participant. When I lived in Australia, they had a wonderful program. They called it Life Be In It. And we all know about the Australians and how active they are outdoors. And this is just one form of the same thing. Don't just watch what's happening out there, do it. Something unique about sailing a small boat first is that what you learn on this boat is you are responsible for everything. So you have to know how to steer it, you have to know how to rig it, you have to know how to man the sails. That activity translates to any boat, anywhere in the world. You could jump on one of these. There's hundreds of thousands of these around the world. Everybody around the world knows what a laser is.
Okay.
And then you can go up to bigger boats. And once you've worked on a small, you know the fundamentals of how they work. And so you're familiar, as opposed to starting on a big boat where you may be the best person at cranking in a sheet, but you have no idea what that guy with the wheel is doing.
Right. So
it's a wonderful life skill. And it's an active one, it's healthy. And
it's international.
Yes.
I mean, you could have a laser in Venezuela on a lake, or you could have it at Lake Tahoe, or be in different places.
And you don't need a language to do it. You have the
Right.
language of sailing, and that's what we use. You don't have to speak Spanish, English, French, or anything else, or Australian for heaven's sakes. And you can get out and sail one of
Yeah,
these boats.
yeah. Sounds very exciting. Now, we are so impressed with the program. I loved being here on Sunday, and I have some videos that we're going to include to our video today. And you can see how many people were here enjoying themselves at the first sailing school day, that Sunday. And it was so festive and so exciting. And it was just a very joyous experience. Thank you so
And-
much.
Well, you're so welcome. And I always want to make sure just to do a shout out to all our coaches here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a wonderful group of people helping out. The active coaches, spouses are oftentimes helping out. Some of the parents chip in and help out too. It's just a wonderful program that everybody gets to, and I think that really accounts for its longevity.
Yes, yes, and also a reflection of the sense of community that we have at Lake of the Pines, where people enjoy participating with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After moving up here, I have no idea why anyone would want to live anywhere else.
Right, right. There we go. I've just paid him some money for that statement, guys. Well, thank you so much for taking your time, Ross, and sharing the sailing program
Well,
with
thank
us.
you, CJ, for having me.
Okay, this is CJ Jenkins. I'm signing off on Lake Life with CJ. If you have any questions about Lake of the Pines or the sailing program, just give me a call at 530-906-4715. Thank you for joining us. Happy summer.